All right, welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I am your host, DPalm. Follow me on Twitter at DPalm66. Follow the show on Twitter at UDPod. Follow the entire MTR network at the MTR network. And I'm excited, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. This is one of my most favorite podcasts of the year. It's Ramblemania, the countdown to the kickoff to the pre-show. That's what we're going to call it because it feels like they're going to give us about 78 hours of wrestling content between Saturday and Sunday. And I'm here for all of it. But before we get started, before I get too deep, I couldn't do this alone. Last year, for Royal Rumble, I did the big round table, 4 people. I'm like Vince McMahon, guys. I like a one-on-one match to end my nights. And that's why I brought on, from PWTorch, my good friend, Rich Fann. Rich, how you doing, man? Rich, you there? Rich is self-muted.
Yeah, it seems like you have the power to mute me, but I got to unmute myself.
Now we know. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. I'm currently here at WWE Axxess in New Orleans watching Keith Lee versus Cassius Ohno for the WWN title. My dude Cam, who is the bane of your existence, is doing some of the media stuff while I slide off to the side and chat with you and prove that Roman Reigns, who's staring me down right now from his poster in Axxess. Roman's got to prove some stuff, and they got to prove some stuff that they know how to use Roman, which I'm sure we'll get into at some point.
Of course we will. Before getting into anything else, I want to knock this out of the way right now. Let's just get those bells out of the way. That's right. Rich, in his capacity as working for PWTorch, is in New Orleans for WrestleMania. He's at Axxess. He's our man on the ground. And I, for one, am insanely jealous. But let's get right into it. As you mentioned 2 great names, Cassius Ohno, Keith Lee, wrestling right now. Last year, the story out of WrestleMania from around the WWE was Keith Lee Iron Man. Everything that weekend. What do you see, just really quickly, as the biggest story coming out of New Orleans that's not the WWE?
Well, I would say the creativity of Game Change Wrestling, which is an affiliate of WWN, because I came earlier before we got to Axxess. I went to Matt Riddle's Blood Sport, which featured the main event of Minoru Suzuki of New Japan versus Matt Riddle in a no ropes, knockouts and submissions only match that was insane. And that was the entire card. So it was like UFC met WWE, and that creativity is only going to be matched tomorrow night by the Joey Janela Spring Break, where you have Pierre Carlo versus Walter, Great Sasuke versus Joey Janela, Pentagon Zero Mato versus Nick Gage, who probably has killed 4 people. And, so I think the creativity of the independents around WWE has forced them to the table. And I think a guy like Keith Lee a couple of years ago might have been left out. But here, they're proud to announce at Axxess that he is opening the show for them. And, which is a point that I think a lot of people here at Axxess, but I know an educated person like yourself would note, the fact that Keith Lee is going first means they respected WWN enough to allow their champ be the main eventer on their show later tonight.
100%. I love that you just kind of dunked on all of us with more and more of just how great your weekend is, and I'm going to try to move forward from that. I got to ask, so it's going to be a full weekend. It's going to be a lot going on. Is Bullet Club really going to be fine?
I don't think it will be. I think this is like when a marriage is starting to dissolve, and like you caught one person cheating, and now everything. You could be eating cereal. It's like, I bet he likes cereal too, and then the person gets up, runs away. And so you have these little things tearing away. I mean, we always talked about the issue of, well, we haven't yet, but the issue of, just Kenny Omega and Cody. But you also have the issue of Cody and Kota Ibushi and Brandy with Flip Gordon. Like, there's a lot of pieces in this mix, and I don't know if it's the Atlanta in the Rhodes family that they want to swing a little bit, or if it's just traveled the world and they're a little more bohemian for our American tastes. But there's a lot of confusion that's spilling into the Bullet Club proper.
Well, I think that's going to be one of my more exciting matches of the weekend. Let's start now with the reason we're all here. WWE has created WrestleMania. It's created Wrestling Super Bowl, and it's grown from just an event where the WWE is the only story in town. As Rich just told us all, there's more indie wrestling, more creative indie wrestling than you ever thought possible in this place. I do want to start now with what's going to happen Saturday night, because the Hall of Fame is a Hall of Fame. I don't usually watch it. I think, I'll talk about this when we get to the Mania card, I think this year's Hall of Fame is going to tie into the events of WrestleMania. But let's start Saturday. New Orleans TakeOver. NXT is coming to town. More and more often, we're seeing these NXT shows with a bit of a smaller card to give matches more time to breathe, tie us to the weekend. Let's go through the card. And what I've done here, Rich, is because they haven't released match orders, I put the matches in the order I wanted them in. And you can disagree if you want, but it's like kind of my show, so we're going to go with it. NXT New Orleans, TakeOver New Orleans, opening match. I think you kind of almost have to open with the ladder match.
I think so.
The ladder match for the inaugural NXT North American Championship. Adam Cole, EC3, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Ricochet, and the Velveteen Dream all vying to be the first champion. I got to ask, going into this match, or I guess coming out of it, who in your head kind of makes the belt most important?
Until they made it a ladder match, I would have said someone like a Lars Sullivan or even Adam Cole. But you add the ladder, this is a heck of a way to debut Ricochet.
Okay, I think you're right. I think that Ricochet's debut here is going to be huge. I was at his actual debut in the stage of Atlanta. No big deal.
Ding.
I rang it. But I'll tell you this. Here's what I broke it down. Velveteen Dream, he could never get an NXT belt, and he's going to be fine. He's the most over person in this match. He doesn't need the belt. Next up, Lars Sullivan, been off TV for a while. I think he was famous for injury. I don't think this is his re-emergence right now. I think he's going to be a contender for the big belt once that picture kind of clears itself up. Going ahead, Ricochet. I think Ricochet is a great choice to win this. I think he's going to have a whole bunch of hot spots and high spots here. I don't think Ricochet needs the belt. I think Ricochet, on the brand name alone, comes in and already establishes who he is. I think Adam Cole doesn't win. I think he puts himself through hell. I think that he gets a little payment later on in the night. And Killian Dane, I honestly think is going to show up on Raw on Monday, so I don't think he's involved either. I think the belt kind of has to go to EC3. He's a smarmy asshole heel. That's the best character for him. And how better to establish that than the first night winning a belt?
Now, my question to you then, Palm, is this, because we were saying that the ladder match is starting, if Adam Cole wins, what option does the Undisputed Era take as it pertains to the tag match? Because to me, if he wins it, like maybe he's like, I'm going to take the night off and you're on your own.
Well, that's the beauty of kind of how my brain booked this, because I would book the tag match immediately next. I would have Adam Cole do duty. I'd have him not win the ladder match, but I'd have him collect the pin in the tag match. That way, you made the Undisputed Era while having down a man, still being up strong, put Adam Cole to the friggin' moon by having him be an Iron Man, and you put some gold on the kid's belt, on the kid's waist too.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's pretty tight. Now, what about...
How would you book that tag match?
For me, I would book the tag match where, yes, I was going to invert it, where Adam takes a big bump during the ladder match, and that leads to him taking a spill. But then on the flip, when they go to the tag, he gets tagged in as kind of a last resort and winds up saving the day for his compatriots. So at least they leave with one title, at least until Sunday, when they'll be defending them, all the titles here at Axxess.
That's very true. All right, then, so my next match, I think, middle of the card, it doesn't suffer for lack of build, honestly. It's Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon. I'm looking forward to the announcers kind of focusing on and emphasizing how much Shayna Baszler's grown in the ring since their last match. How many people she's hurt and how much she's learned. So I've kind of got my thoughts. Who do you have coming out of this one? Or what do you think the booking decision could best be?
Well, as I've said when we were last talking about the NXT TakeOver Rumble season, Ember to me is Ember Cormier, so I think it's for her to go home, be a family woman, and let Miss Baszler handle things with the grown women. I think she's going to get choked out.
I'm not going to, again, I cannot do the Cormier thing with you. I know you're trying to bring me there. I'm not going to go. But I think you're right. I think this is time for Baszler to get the win. I think it'll be good in the 4 horsewomen like MMA angle they're going to push with Ronda the next night. And I think that Ember Moon's better at chasing babyface. And I think that those two can keep that division afloat. Since, as we know, a lot of talent's left, they can kind of bring up the new girls. They're going to be the Bayley and Asuka of the division for a while the rest of the division gets up. And honestly, it's really Ember because Shayna Baszler was greener than she.
Yeah, and Shayna, it's amazing to me that she is as inexperienced as she is, coupled with her age. You would assume they wouldn't want to invest. But you can see, and this is no offense to Ronda, just with the time she's had in the ring, while Ronda has the name value and the name recognition, Shayna has the presence. I mean, when she had that match with Kairi Sane or she had the match with Ember, you could see this is a vicious woman, or the little vignettes where she's like, hey, let me show you some moves I learned, and then she holds on a little longer than she needs to. And everyone's like, what are you doing? And she kind of just rolls away. And similar to Pete Dunne, where they know they're being a jerk, and they give you that move where it's like, yeah, I kind of left the car with half a tank of gas, but what are you going to do about it?
100%. So this is my first real booking wrinkle of the weekend. I would book the title match right here. And I'd put it right here because I think we all know what the hottest angle in NXT is. And the way I would book this is I would have let's go over. I would have this also be Aleister Black's last night in NXT.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Sorry. Apparently, a Bailey Sucks chant just broke out by Sasha Banks.
Goodness. Hold on. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. I didn't even mention that Bully Ray was on my flight or anything silly.
You just did. I'm very happy for you.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I didn't even think about it. It just slipped.
I thought we were talking about the title match, Rich.
Yes. Speaking of champions. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. Keith Lee just gave a pounce to Cassius Ohno, and now he just hit him with ground zero, and that's it. Keith Lee just won in a WWE ring, which ties into champion.
Not only previewing the weekend, he's calling the action on the show. Give this man a raise, Wade Keller.
Now, for me, I wanted that. That's perfect because I think the man who just retained his WWN title is going to be someone that shows up at some point after that title match.
I think you put the camera in the crowd treatment.
Yeah, I think the title. I think you're right. I think the title's going to stay in Almas's hands. I would be a little bit more patient. I would hold off on Aleister Black for at least till SummerSlam, and let him have another shot at Almas. Or even if you do that mid period, like they kind of did with Johnny Wrestling, right, where they have the rematch, and then after that, off he goes. I would hope SmackDown, because I would want him to find his voice with a Triple H, a Jace, Booker or writer before Vince got his mitts on him fully, because I think he needs to be colored out a little bit. What is he outside of being an awesome, Satan-worshipping kickboxer?
That's all. Undertaker's a zombie mortician, my friend.
Yeah, this is true.
I think they were both right there. I think that it's important to keep the belt on all of us right now. And I also think that Drew McIntyre is back.
Oh, you think he's coming?
I think we're going to have, because he almost have great chemistry. I want to see more of those matches. If I can do that, and if we need to clear out a little space, that's why I was kind of moving Aleister Black to the main roster, because I think the top of that NXT card is going to get very crowded very quickly. The last match of the card for NXT TakeOver New Orleans, and by any booking since that I've ever known, Ciampa, Gargano, and a match that is not safe. I think finally, Gargano's got to get a big win.
Okay, so here's the invert of that. If Gargano's got to get a big win, does he win staying in NXT? To me, I think his big win is the final send-off where he gets strapped to a rocket somewhere on the main roster. Now, for me, I would hope and pray that he avoids 205 Live. I would want him to go to SmackDown, the land of opportunity, because I think he'd be a great understudy to Daniel Bryan.
And that's why I put him on SmackDown, because he is Daniel Bryan. It's like, every time Gargano be in there, I'm like, God, I'd rather watch the Bryan match. And not in a derogatory way towards Gargano, just because you're going to go with the underdog, beaten down babyface. There's only room for one, really, per show. I like the 205 Live. We're going to talk about the Cruiserweight title match when we get to the main card, but the 205 Live the last 2 months has kind of been fire.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's the thing. I don't disagree with you at all. I just don't want him to get pigeonholed. I think
that's fair.
That's like if Bryan got thrown on 205 Live to combat his head injury. Like, I just feel like you're not getting the most out of him.
I'll tell you what, I would put him in 205 Live. I'd do about a 1-year story of the reunion of DIY, and then take him as a tag.
Okay. Now that would be good. If you had Bryan and Johnny wrestling as a squad, I could roll with it.
I was even saying send Ciampa and Gargano to 205 Live, have them continue the story for a year, but have them end with the reuniting and the debut of DIY on SmackDown Live.
Oh, wow. That would be pretty good.
I got my fingers crossed over here. Things are crazy over there, but we're gonna head into Sunday now. Again, I've booked this entire card to my own whims. I apologize, but I didn't mean it, so I'm gonna go ahead and scoot forward. The pre-show is set. There's gonna be the 2 battle royals in the cruiserweight match. I personally would open with the women's battle royal. I think that you're gonna have, and by the way, it should be either Sensational Sherry or the Miss Elizabeth Invitational. The whole controversy should have been avoided. I think that if you're going to open the thing, you're going to open the WrestleMania, you do it with this match, you do it with the women, you give them that spotlight. And I'm not going to pick someone to go over. I'm not even sure who's in it. I'm sure we'll get some legends. But what I'm looking forward to storyline-wise is the evolution of Bayley and Sasha. I want to see some Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Royal Rumble stuff. Like Bayley or Sasha eliminates Bayley, but Bayley turns heel by eliminating Sasha later on, helping cheat. Like, something big's got to happen with that story.
No, I agree. And for me, I will go that one step, and I will pick the horsewoman that isn't currently in a match along with her sisters in that Battle Royal. I will say Becky Lynch should be the person that wins.
You are speaking what I'm hoping. I just don't know what's going to happen. I think I'm 100% with you. I'm a Becky Lynch fan, and I got my fingers crossed. The next match I'd put up would be the Cruiserweight title match because, like, I never kind of people talk in a denigrating manner about 205 Live. The last 2 months have been great fire, and this Cruiserweight tournament has been great storytelling. It's felt like from the beginning they were leading us to the emergence, the revival, the growth of Cedric Alexander, but along the way we found Mustafa Ali. Who's your call here? Who do you pick? Do you flip a coin?
I think so. I mean, there's so many good. I want them both to be champion because both their stories. It's just so everyone. I mean, I know they didn't put the full one on television, but the story of being an ex-cop and wanting to put trust in the police with his journey as a champ versus Cedric Alexander being a gentleman that's never really gotten that chance as much as he should given his talent. So I'm just overwhelmed, and I will be happy with whomever wins.
I remember when the Classic match dropped where he lost to Kota Ibushi, and the entire place was going nuts. Please sign Cedric. Like, what's the artistry in pro wrestling? That's it. That's the passion. Is he was able to engender that kind of reaction from that crowd at the end of a long taping day. Let him do it on the big stage. Let him do it in WrestleMania. Let him earn the belt that's been eluding since he got there. Let us get the end of that feel-good story. This is a story that runs back to the Cruiserweight Classic. It's one that can be completed on Sunday. And as much as I want it to happen, as I think it should happen, I can't get mad when Mustafa Ali walks out. I can't. There's no way. What I want to happen, no matter who wins, I want a stray Neville to be spotted, and I want him to take back his crown.
The king of the cruiserweights needs to show up.
The king needs to show up. The king must address his subjects. Last match on the pre-show, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Armbar.
I mean, do you have a pick here? Do you have a thought? I'm kind of battle royaled out. This is my go find some more beer match, probably.
For me, I think the Andre Grusomoff Memorial Battle Royal should go to someone that's like off the beaten path. And I'll go with this is where Lars Sullivan debuts.
Ooh. So I think it was 2 years ago. It was the debut of Baron Corbin when he run it. They're going to go with another NXT debut. That's good. That's a good way to get a rub immediately and show up immediately. Let's go now to the main card, which is, I think it's going to be hour 7 of Sunday's WrestleMania coverage between pre-shows and lead-in and kickoffs. And I would come out and I would pop the crowd immediately. I would go Miz, I would go Seth, I would go Finn, Intercontinental title, curtain jerker. What do you think?
Oh, I agree completely. That's the workers' title. You got 3 workers, 2 of which that are widely known internationally, and 1 is really underrated in Mike Mizanin. I think them opening for the Intercontinental title and getting a chance to prove that they can steal the show from match 1 is going to put the onus on one of the other matches we'll talk about in a few moments to live up to its Tokyo Dome hype.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think that it's going to be really interesting to see because, let's be real, Seth Rollins has been on a run since around Elimination Chamber where he's just been a wrestling machine. He's just been an animal monster. He's been amazing in the ring. Finn Balor, of course, has been doing his thing. And Miz, say what you about Miz, like I said, very underrated. He's one of the best sellers we've got. He's going to make both of these guys' offense look like $1 million. If I've got my druthers, Finn does not come out in the paint, but he does leave with the white belt, the Intercontinental title. What about you?
I think Miz retains after claiming for his daughter. He does some of the various stuff. Now, I would go a step. Listen, I would go full 80s promoter scumbag, fake baby in a basket, and have them bump Maurice. And while they're concerned, Miz rolls them up, and it turns out it was like a Cabbage Patch or something. But I think WWE, being a publicly traded company, would be shut down. Yeah. So I instead am going to say that Finn's going to nail the coup de grace on Seth and catch that little powder from Miz, and Miz steals the win.
Man, maybe you're right. I really hope you're not. Because for me, honestly, I want the Miz to be Roman's first feud with the Big Dog.
Ooh. See, now, I'll turn around. I want Miz to retain it so that he can eventually feud with Daniel Bryan and Daniel take it from him.
Oh, that's going to happen down the line. But really, selfishly, if I'm being perfectly honest, it's the Miz thing. I also really want like another month of Seth and Finn matches. Those are a lot of fun for me. I think that the match on Monday was one of the best on Raw probably in the last 2-3 years. And I'll take more, please.
I can't fight you there, Palm. I think it's gonna be good. I'm gonna love this match. That's probably one of the 5 matches I'm most looking forward to this entire weekend.
And that's one of the things. You look at this card; it's 10 matches on the main card, but they're 10 good matches. It's almost hard to stack to put. I do not envy the bookers to put this match order together Sunday morning, but I think next up for me would be Cesaro and Sheamus versus Braun, and to be determined later. Do you have a pick for Braun's mystery partner?
I would hope it's someone like an Ellsworth, so that way he can tag himself in. Like right when Braun's about to finish him off, he tags himself in and eats a brogue kick, and that's all she wrote.
But I have to ask, though, because it's been kind of bandied about that if Braun doesn't have a partner, or even someone like an Ellsworth, that him winning the titles would damage the division irreparably. What do you think about that?
I don't know about irreparably, but I do feel like Sheamus and Cesaro, and Sheamus, you have a former, 4-time world champion, a guy who has been to the mountaintop, beat Daniel Bryan in, 12 seconds, so he has these accolades, and even though he's currently in a tag team, he's one of the toughest dudes on the roster. This dude is playing, right now he's playing hurt to a level that, even Herm Edwards would have to appreciate in terms of having the degenerative whatever situation in his neck and continually wrestling against time. And I'm a little scared for him, if I'm quite honest. So I feel like Braun is a nuclear weapon, and anytime he gets any belt, it's going to be nigh impossible to defeat him. So I think if it's the tag belts, it looks even more impossible because now you have two dudes who are wailing on him and they still can't stop Godzilla.
Man. Okay, so this is where things get touchy and weird because a lot of these matches you're like, oh, I put that match third, but wait, that can't go third, but I did it anyway. Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in the third slot. I don't feel great about it. Am I wrong?
I'm cynical, and so I will say I think that's going to be, if not the semi-main, or I think it's going to be the main event. No, I'm sorry, semi-main, because Roman and Brock is basically guaranteed to be the last match. But I think
we disagree.
Oh, okay, wow, okay. So I think it's going to be, they might flip it because my colleague Bruce Mitchell mentioned it, and he heard it from his buddy, Mr. Dave Meltzer. How much would ESPN want photos of Triple H tapping out to Ronda Rousey in the middle of the ring as the final image of WrestleMania?
Well, the thing is, if they get their cameras on it early, they can use it throughout the entire coverage. So that's why I have it third. I have, obviously, Ronda and Kurt going over. I don't think that goes any other way, right?
I hope not. I mean, if they somehow pull the Helmsley special and at some point convince Vince that Stephanie needs to go over, I think I might burst the blood vessel in my nose while I'm at the arena.
All right, so for my next series of matches, I tell kind of a meta story behind them. So the next match I would have would be the triple threat tag match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Usos versus the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers. I've got the Bludgeon Brothers. They've gone from, like, LARPers to a team I can really get behind. What do you think?
Yeah, team no respect versus team just no ring time versus the team that everyone sleeps on because they've been at the top so long you don't really give them credit. And that's the New Day. I think the New Day, they've done so much and they've been, I mean, obviously there have been some issues with, like, magically right as WrestleMania season shows up, all the stuff with pancakes and all the little side things that could have been misinterpreted disappeared. But they've been working hard for 4 years, and that sounds similar to another gentleman we'll talk about. And they've earned the right to be where they are. But more than that, the Usos have earned the right to be on the main card. Those guys have never been on a WrestleMania main card. They've been holding down the tag division since we were in college, basically. And that doesn't feel that way. But that's them. They've been such an effective team to the point where usually you'd get the inkling that one of them needs to break off, and at no point do I see either of them as a guy who's like, you know what, I want to give this guy a run with the U.S. belt and let his brother hang out. Even when they were injured, I couldn't wait for Jay to get back because I felt like Jimmy was missing part of his body.
Next up, the fifth match. This is a match I'm booking here in the next two segments, kind of booking here to give, not to give the crowd a break, but because you can't book hot the whole time. You can't have the crowd running hot the entire time. They're going to get exhausted. They're going to burn out. My next match is Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax, but it's a squash. We break the 12-second record. You've had Alexa Bliss bullying Nia Jax for weeks. What's more cathartic? What's more guaranteed to get you a cheap pop from every person in that crowd than that video package that runs for 8 minutes, a 3-minute entrance, followed by a 5-minute entrance, followed by a 12-second match? Like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, and that's even that you took the words out of my mouth. I think that's the way it has to go, especially with all the fat shaming they've been trying to do to Nia Jax. Her come in there, chill them, walk out with the belt. If they could have a nice little surprise and have someone like have The Rock show up to congratulate her later, or put out an Instagram post or something like you would for family. I think that would be that's more over the top because she deserves to get a big run as the woman. Again, she's like the female Braun Strowman right now until Nikki Cross gets on the roster, and then you have to worry about where your silverware is and if you left the batteries around.
100%. So my next segment would be something you just kind of hinted at. We did not compare notes before this. I would have Elias come out and sing his song, give his greatest performance ever, to be interrupted by a little bit of rock karaoke.
Oh, wow.
Elias has come out with this thing. The Rock gets the easy pop, hits the rock bottom, maybe daps up his cousin on the way to the back. Like maybe that's our rub there, our moment.
No, I like that. I think the Rock. Oh, I'm so sorry. Coming out for a Rock concert and finally getting to face off with Elias and doing the "What's your name again?" and then it doesn't matter what your name is. I think that's going to be gold. That's like print money. That further proves. Go ahead.
No, you finish.
Oh, I was going to say, that further proves that Triple H in his press conference before we started WrestleMania week mentioned that he had mentioned years ago that Elias was a character he was sure would play out better on the main stage as opposed to the NXT audience. And love him or hate him, the man was right. And when you added Vince's little match to it, you have this guy that would get another level added to him by being in the ring with The Rock.
100%. That's the rub you can't shake for a while. And I also kind of want him to eat a rock bottom, but also eat a guitar shot. Because now, as we all know, you have to have your Hall of Fame moment. And I think after The Rock pops the crowd, it's a good time to do that. So this is where I build in the Hall of Fame break. Everyone gets honored. We talk about Kid Rock for a second. I wonder who inducted him on Friday. Anyway, we'll talk about all that. Now.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
Not his concert, because he's going to have his concert. Don't forget about that crap.
The concert's coming. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
So after a Hall of Fame break, we go to a ring full of at least one Hall of Famer. Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal versus Bobby Roode versus Rusev. I've got Rusev going over in a landslide. What do you think?
Rusev Day, man, I'm all about it. I think this would be a great opportunity to finally roll with the flow of the crowd, so to speak, and allow Rusev to get embraced as the awesome human being he is. The big question for me is who's going to be the first person he gets to face off with after he wins.
Oh, that's easy. We're turning Bobby Roode heel.
Oh.
He's a better heel than me.
That's really cool.
He never got a rematch for his title. Bobby Roode turns heel. He's got a stake to the title. Let's do this. Let's dance.
Wow. That's outstanding.
All right, so here's where we're going to come into a little contention here. Because match seven, I'm putting with Brock and Roman.
Okay.
We're going to have a hot crowd off the Rusev thing. So their cheers, they'll be very loud. I think Rusev has second biggest pop of the night. We'll talk about biggest in a second.
Now wait a minute. If I'm just observing here, but I might interpret you insinuating that with the hot crowd. Excuse me, so you dropped something. That you're using Roman as the P break?
No. I just think that this is a match where how dare you, first of all. Second of all, I think that because the way I'm booking the end of this card's a little weird, I'm not going to lie. But I think it's important to kind of how the build is. And because Dana White's been in the press running his mouth about certain people's contract situations, I think that putting this last resulted in a WrestleMania 20 double boot.
You mentioned this, and it's kind of disgusting that this has become the mirror image of WrestleMania 20, even down to the contract situation being awkwardly revealed before the match happens, which, again, as I joked on Twitter about Roman, and I just did a few minutes ago, I do want to seriously say that I feel like nothing is being done with this as far as Dana White's behavior and how that affects Brock. Nothing's been done to help Roman because, like you said, you're setting him up to get booed as the guy who's here, not necessarily the guy defending WWE.
And the thing is, I'm not even saying this as the guy who's here. I think he gets booed because at this arena because the fans have been told that when that music hits, you boo. If you'll notice, most of his matches, they start with boos. He ends up cheering at the end, which is the mark of a really good worker. Now, that last segment on Monday, I thought did a really good job of positioning him as the babyface. Him saying to the other guys, you can let this part-time bastard get in my way. Like, he was able to represent the locker room. And I think that, if anything, they can play that up in the video package. I think it go a long way to carrying some of those cheers over from Rusev on to Roman.
Yeah, I got to be honest. That moment at the end where they all realized, like, hey, yeah, we're not going to watch this guy's back. What are we doing this for? It was both to be awesome in that it showed the respect they have for Roman, but I also feel like in many ways that also was kind of a middle finger continually to Kurt, who is caught as like the sad dad who just told the kids they can't go to the party.
See, I don't even tie it to Kurt that much. I like this for this one especially. I think the story's been very much Roman is the WWE and Brock is everyone else, and nothing Vince likes more in the world than an us against the world story. And they can play that up and they can tell that story because they would chew about the booze before. These two will put on a hell of a 10-minute match.
No, you're right. And I think I even looked when we were doing the East Coast Cast on Wednesday before I left. I was talking about the fact that I loved the WrestleMania match with Roman and Brock before Seth's cash-in, and I actually miscounted the time because I thought they were in the ring for like somewhere like 5 minutes, and then Seth came in, and it was like a minute total. They wrestled a 12-minute match, and Seth came in on 90 seconds.
Yeah, it's a better match than I think people remember because the ending is so cemented. But you're right. I think it's one of those better matches that's ever happened. The next match I have on the card, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shane McMahon, and the biggest pop of the night will be the Daniel Bryan hot tag. If you're here to watch Shane do a bunch of cool stuff, you're watching the wrong Mania. Shane's going to be Ricky Morton for literally the entire match until that Bryan hot tag in this place is. You guys can blow the roof off of the stadium.
Yes. Yeah, and the fact that the video crews can transpose WrestleMania 30 with 34 and the journey he's gone in his life from that crowning achievement to this new crowning achievement, I mean, the only thing that will be matched by this is the very first world title shot he ever gets now that he's returned. I think it's going to be something akin to, ironically, his trainer, Shawn Michaels, when Shawn came back and won his first world title after his back injury.
Oh, there's a lot of Shawn Michaels overlap here. I don't think we have time for it today. I think that Shane has to get the pin here, right?
I think Daniel does. I think he's going to get it with either Shane doing a psycho move to distract Sammy, and then Daniel nailing either the Busaiku knee on Kevin or making him tap to the yes lock.
Oh, you think you're having Owens? See, I don't think Owens and Zayn are leaving SmackDown. I think the story's too good. I think next month they're getting Owens, Zayn, and Bryan in a triple threat. No big deal. I think that something's going to happen underhanded where they steal the pin against Shane. Shane counts the lights. But we also get the moment at the end of the match where Daniel Bryan gets to thank the crowd for cheering him on in his first match back. And guess what? Bryan losing his first match back only builds that underdog babyface cred.
You're right. You can't fight you, Bomb.
You can't book him as the dominant returning hero. You can't. He doesn't work that way. You book him as the underdog who gets beaten down, and that's and so that when he does get those wins, it's cathartic.
No, you're right. Now, see, the way I was going to go with it is they win, and then Stephanie hires Sammy and Kevin on Raw.
Well, see, and there's also rumors of a heel GM coming to SmackDown, brother, who could hire them back as well.
Well, I mean, some people see it. Some people see it as the white sheeted face they always wanted.
But Cam will fight people in press row, apparently. Anyway, semi-main event. I actually fought with this for a while, Rich. I want to make it big. I really do. I couldn't pull the trigger. I didn't have the guts. Charlotte, Asuka, SmackDown, women's title.
Ooh, I think the Queen's going down. The Empress tomorrow will.
Spoiler alert: the Queen's going down. And the funny part about it is, Carmella's going to try to cash in right afterwards. She's going to get kicked in the head.
Oh! Nobody is ready for Asuka.
I think we're going to have a year title run from her and have it end next year, either to probably Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think by SummerSlam, Ronda can get a shot, and then after that, it's just the issue of who's going to finally make the move and say, maybe we should face each other, because then I feel like that'd be a good time to, just like they did during this lead-in, they teased this with Asuka using the armbar instead of her Empress submission, the crossface. And so if she goes back to the armbar and she's, doing her little thing, and then Ronda's using the crossface to kind of do her thing, I think that's a pretty cool opportunity for them to kind of mess around and mess with each other, kind of like a good Japanese-style feud where you see someone using the other person's finisher to piss them off.
And my last match on the card, announced card at least, would end with AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, the phenomenal one versus, I guess, the artist. And I've got Shinsuke Nakamura holding up the belt at the end of WrestleMania.
I'm with you. Same thing. And I think they're going to recreate their Tokyo Dome finish where at the end, a battered AJ has to go across the ring and kneel side to side with his man and Shinsuke, and then do the fist bump of strong style salute and just let Shinsuke have his moment. If anything, as much as I'm excited for that match and the finish, I want to see Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance at WrestleMania. When they signed him, that was the very first thing I thought about. How awesome is he going to be? Is he going to dress like the Statue of Liberty? Is he going to get I mean, if you look on YouTube, he's done it before.
I think
Wrestle King.
At the very least, we're getting the Michael Jackson jacket.
Oh, yeah, if you look, Wrestle Kingdom, I want to say 6 or 7, he dressed his Statue of Strong Style Liberty.
Yeah. All right, and so that's kind of how my Mania card plays out, because at the end of the show, we get the obligatory concert by Kid Rock. The concert's broken up by John Cena, emerging from the crowd, holding a bucket of popcorn. I've been here all night. Where you at, Taker? Because a couple days prior, the man who has not been announced, because they've never told us who's inducting Kid Rock yet. It's going to be the Taker.
Right.
He's going to say a few words. Let's see you Sunday, John, and walk off. And Cena's going to interrupt the concert and say, "Where is he? Bring him out. Bring him out." Kid Rock will start playing again. Then the Harley hits. And he drives down to the ring as Biker Taker. Now, defending my Biker Taker choice. He left the gloves, hat, and the jacket in the ring last year. He did not wear any of that to Raw 25.
Nope.
Cena has not been calling out the dead man. He's been saying, "I see you're hurt." Dead man doesn't get hurt. "I see you with your wife." Dead man doesn't have a wife. Mark Calloway does. The Taker does. But last year, we retired the gimmick. The man is here to fight. And the last vision of WrestleMania in New Orleans, where Taker lost his streak last time, where he was dropping his head and concussed and walked through the last end of that match. He comes out victorious. 3 tombstones on John Cena, middle of the ring. But the outro, of course, is the goal.
That's good. I mean, if they give you the pencil, that's going to be something that makes them a lot of money. I'm in a similar mood, but I'm a little nervous that they might try to pull a Rock situation where
next year?
they have like a confrontation, and then he goes up to him and says, "See you next year."
The thing is, this card's so good, I couldn't be mad at it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be satisfied, but I couldn't be like, "Oh, I wish I was here for another 45 minutes." I'm going to be very tired of this show.
Oh, yeah, I'm very glad my friend's driving, because I am probably going to be asleep by the time we get to the car.
I hear that. So I do want to ask you 2 quick questions before we get out of here. One, who do you think is going to have the best entrance this year at Mania?
I am going to say Shinsuke.
Okay. I think I think I'm going to side with Shinsuke, too. Part of me wants to say Triple H, because it's kind of what he tries to do.
Okay.
But
that's not fair.
No, he's dancing with Shinsuke now. It's a whole other thing. And all this is a caveat that if Rusev doesn't bring back the Tank. Because if Rusev brings back the Tank, all bets are off.
Yeah, that's it.
And my last question. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, the one thing I would do to put it over the top is they need to just quit playing around, just like with Ronda and Joan Jett. They needed to go to Jay-Z, get the real backdrop and the beat drop of Blood on the Leaves, and let Rusev live.
I am 1,000% here for it.
Because the sample version, I like the no, give them the real stuff.
Now I've got something to wish for my birthday. My last question is, Pop of the weekend. What do you think the biggest pop of the weekend is? Give me two choices.
Got biggest pop of the weekend. I think it's going to be Brian.
Is it going to be the Brian entrance or the Brian hot tag?
The Brian entrance, because they're going to get to see him go down that aisle and do the yes and watch him tear up as he's looking back at them. And if they play it right, have Bree and Birdie in the crowd and get it real dusty in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Look, I'll say this. If I can get Shane McMahon to watch a bunch of DIY matches on how to be a babyface in the world, that tag could be the loudest noise ever recorded.
Yes.
If you can tease them like 3 or 4 times with, almost, and that place will be so primed to erupt, the only concern I have is maybe Shane doesn't have a feel for the crowd as much. But he's also in there with Kevin and Sammy who will tell him when it's time to talk.
Yeah, that's right. And if there's anyone you can trust, it's those two guys.
At concert, my second pick for the weekend is going to be Johnny Gargano beating that rat-faced bastard Ciampa.
Oh, now see, I'm confused. I don't know. That one I'm still lost on because I don't. What do you think? Oh, hold on a second. Somebody's yelling. Let me run away because it's Rosenberg is basically supposed to be interviewing, but if I'm dry snitching, he's trying to low key hit on Nia Jax in the Axxess ring. Trying to shoot a shot.
You're going to give people trouble. They're very happily married and all the time on TV. Rich, thank you so much for taking time out of your Axxess experience. Hold on. Come on here, put yourself over, and talk a little wrestling. Tell everyone where they can find you, man.
All right, absolutely. If you want, find me on Twitter at Rich_Fann, F-A-N-N. If you want to listen to me, you can go to PWTorchLivecast.com and listen to me on Saturdays where I do the deep dive. Or Wednesdays, if you go to PWTorch/VIP, I cover the VIP portion of the East Coast cast. And if you follow us on Torch East Coast Cast on Instagram, you can see all the videos, pictures, and posts myself and Cam will have up this weekend.
There you go. There he is, Rich Fann. He's UD Pod's man on the ground, but more importantly, he's a good friend, and he's doing great work with PWTorch and with Buffalo Wings. That's Buffalo Wings without the G. Make sure you check all that out. I try to get like him. He talks about Buffalo sports and pro wrestling. He gets somehow to do it, and people enjoy it, and I'm just trying to get on his level. My name is D-Palm. This is Unanimous Decision. The countdown to the lead-in, the kickoff to the pre-show of this year's Ramblemania. That was your show. This is your outro. See you guys.